processed by a third-party AI service we use, as explained in our privacy policy on our website.
Did you catch that? Most people wouldn't. You call a car dealership, a completely normal thing to do. And buried right there in the whole message is a little disclosure. This call may be handled using AI technologies. And if you don't want to know more about that, check our privacy policy. So I did. And what I found stopped me cold. I'm not naming the dealership. That's not the point. The point is, this is happening everywhere. And most people just press one to continue and never think about it twice. I did think twice because I had to. Welcome back to Not On Zzyzx Road. I am your host. And today we're talking about the document that no one reads but everyone agrees to, the privacy policy. So here's what happened. I called this dealership, a local business, just to handle some routine stuff. Maybe a service appointment, maybe a question on the vehicle. Normal. Before I even got to a human being, the automated phone system told me we are using AI technologies in handling calls. And if you want to learn more, visit our privacy policy. Now, I want to be real with you. That kind of disclosure doesn't shock me in the way it might shock some people. A lot of companies use AI customer service bots, call routing, voice transcription. It's everywhere now. But what got my attention was the way it was presented, like a footnote, like something you're just supposed to accept and move on from. I didn't move on. I went and read the policy. And what I found was essentially this. If you interact with our AI powered phone system, the information you provide will be shared with our third party AI assistant. And if you don't want that, don't do business with us by phone. Not in those exact words, but that was the message. And I want to sit with that for a moment because it's a real thing. Companies are allowed to say to you right now. Most privacy policies are written by lawyers for lawyers. They're long, they're dense, they're specifically designed to be technically compliant without being truly transparent. But what if you slow down and take a look at a key few things? You can get the real sense of what you're agreeing to. Here's what to scan for. What data are they collecting? In this case, a phone call to a dealership. Think about what you're actually handling over your name, your phone number, your address. If you're scheduling a service, your VIN number, if you're calling about a specific vehicle, maybe your account number. That's not nothing. That's a profile. It's not just about whether the dealership keeps your data safe, it's about who they hand it off to. In this case, a third party AI company. Do you know who that is? I didn't. The policy didn't name it, and that matters because it's once your data leaves the company and who you choose to do business with, you almost have no visibility where it goes next. What is the opt out? Here is where it got real for me. The opt out in this policy was essentially don't use the phone, just don't contact us by phone. That's it. If you want to protect your information, come in person, which for a lot of people isn't practical. And for someone like me who actively pays for a service to scrub my personal information, data from the internet, this is not a real choice. That's a wall. How long do they keep it? Policies often don't get specific, or they say something vague like as long as necessary for business purposes. That could mean forever. What security protections exist? Again, often vague, industry standard policies, reasonable safeguards. These phrases sound reassuring. I want to be transparent with you why I take this so seriously because it's not an abstract for me. Back in the 1990s, I experienced identity theft. And because it happened so long ago, before modern systems that we have today, my information had been bought and sold and resold so many times that at this point, it's in places I'll never be able to reach. The dark web, data broker lists have copied and sold and copied and sold and copied and sold my information again for 30 years. I pay for a service that essentially scrubs my information from the internet. And that is a constant battle. Every time they find something and remove it, it shows up again somewhere else because the data doesn't disappear, it multiplies. So when I heard the dealership IVR message and I read the privacy policy, it wasn't paranoia, it was a pattern recognition. I know what happens when you are careless about who gets your information because I live the consequences with it. Your name, your phone number, your address, your VIN number, those are building blocks that people use to steal your identity, open accounts in your name, destroy your credit. And you hand it all over to them in a single phone call. You made to schedule an oil change, a routine service, a tire rotation. I spent years working in healthcare. And in that world, there's a specific framework on how your private information gets handled when it moves between companies. It's called a business associate agreement, better known as a BAA. Here's how it works. If a health plan or a hospital needs to share your protected health information, your PHI, with another company to deliver your care, that company has to sign a BAA. I've signed plenty of them in my career. They are legally agreeing to safeguard your information to the same standard as the original covered entity. They can't just do whatever they want with it. They are bound by HIPAA. They are accountable. Now, is that system perfect? No. Companies still get breached, data still gets mishandled, but the framework exists. The rules are there. There are consequences. In the world of consumer privacy, outside of healthcare, there is no equivalent federal framework. What you get instead is a privacy policy that companies write for themselves, posted on their website that you agree to by the act of calling them. The third party AI company handling that dealership calls, no one handed me their BAA equivalent. No one told me their security standard. No one told me their name. I just agreed by pressing one. Now, I'm not going to tell you to read every privacy policy in full. That's not realistic. I am going to give you the cheat sheet for the moments that matter most. When you are about to share something real sensitive information with a company you don't know well. So, step one, use Control F or Command F if you have a Mac. Search keywords third party, share, sale, AI, party affiliates. These words will take you straight to the parts of the policy that actually affect you. Step two, find the opt out. Every policy should have a section on your rights and choices, what they are actually giving you. Are they actually giving you a real opt out? Or is it just a suggestion not to use their service? Step three, look for the third party list. Some companies publish a list of their data partners, most don't, but if they do, look for it. These are the companies your data is going to. Step four, check the date. Privacy policies get updated. If the last updated date is years old, that is a red flag. Either way, they haven't touched it since the regulations changed, or they've updated it quietly without notifying their users. Step number five, trust your gut. If you read a section and your reaction is, that doesn't feel right, sit with that. You don't have to be a lawyer to notice when a company is telling you they can do it essentially whatever they want to do with your information. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Privacy policies are not formalities, they're contracts. And in most cases, you are agreeing to them without realizing you're signing anything at all by calling, by clicking, by just showing up. The dealership situation I told you about today, this isn't an edge case, that's the norm. Companies are integrating AI into their customer interactions and sometimes disclosing it, oftentimes not. And almost always in ways that make opting out impractical. And unlike healthcare, where there is at least a federal framework designed to protect your most sensitive information, in the consumer world, you are largely on your own, especially if you click, yes, I agree, or continue on using the service. So read the fine print, use Control F or Command F, ask questions, and if the company answer to your privacy concerns is, then don't do business with us. That tells you everything you need to know. I'm going to link some resources in the show notes, including a guide on how to opt out of data broker lists, which is where a lot of your information ends up after it leaves these companies. You actually choose to deal with. Thank you for listening to Not On Zzyzx Road. If today's episode hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you got your story of your own, let me hear it down in the chat. Share your own privacy policy story, the one that stopped you cold. I want to hear it. Until next time, read before you click or call or press 1. And remember, here, we're going to go down the roads less known, often untraveled, or not even thought of. Bye. There's nothing here. There's nothing there.